Oh, you have to.
Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
From Studio A in sunny Florida, welcome to Beauty and the Beach Radio, where it's all about who's beautifying Vero Beach. Today's show is brought to you by Dale Sorensen Real Estate. And here's your host and glamour girl, makeup artist, Cindy Getz.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio. We hope you had a great week. You guys, the show is all about who's beautifying Vero Beach, and what is more beautiful than amazing food? Yes, we are talking about food today. We're talking about fancy food. We're talking about a dinner that is now second annual here in Vero Beach. Super excited to talk about it. I love food, especially great food. And we have a guest who's been on this show numerous times, no stranger to the media. Listen to this, guys. If you've not met him, you need to know him. He is originally from New York. Okay. He is owner and executive chef for over 13 years, guys, at Citrus Grill House, which is a popular American bistro style restaurant right here in Vero Beach. He has worked and interned, you guys, at some of the finest restaurants in the U.S. We're talking West. We're talking Picasso. We're talking French Laundry, 11 Madison Park. And now, guys, he is host and creator, okay, of Vero's second annual Dinner by the Sea, which is a culinary evening featuring Chef Scott and guest celebrity chefs from around the United States. So, welcome back, Chef Scott Verricchio.
Thank you very much, Beauty and the Beach Radio.
Thank you. It's great to have you back. So, Chef, last year you featured Chef Gabrielle Kreuter and Chef Clay Conley.
Correct.
Two of the country's finest chefs. This year's collaboration was just as impressive, from one of the best pastry chefs in America to a Food Network TV star to a best-selling cookbook author. Tell us about your three guest chefs this year and why they were so special to you.
Well, in my culinary career, which started many moons ago, they were the founding fathers, and we all worked together in a restaurant 25, 26, 27 years ago. And we each went our separate ways, and it was just kind of full circle for us to get back together for one last rodeo and just see what we can do. And it was just like putting on old shoes. We just fell into the same groove, and everybody worked well together. A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. It was a great evening.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the celebrity chefs that you had, they've all become extremely, popular in their world. And they started out in culinary, but you didn't. Is that right?
I did not. I was going to be the next Jack Nicklaus. Lord knows that did not happen.
Yes. And
not even close.
You were actually working at an engineering firm when you switched over to the restaurant business.
I was.
And so I had the pleasure of talking to the celebrity guest chef that you had, and they were so proud of you for, they said, making it, because you started not from day one as a chef.
I did not go to culinary school. I learned, School of Hard Knocks. I went in and gave in my time for free for a couple of years, while still working my normal job. And I decided, let's take the leap. Why not?
So let's talk about those connections. Let's talk about, first of all, Lincoln Carson.
Yep.
He is definitely doing something that I love, which is pastries. Tell us about Lincoln and your past with him.
Well, Lincoln, in my eyes, is probably the best pastry chef in the country, hands down. That being said, he also is one of the formidable chefs in this country. He does both. He does both very, very well. Extraordinarily creative, very driven, very measured. The harder the dish is to make, the more he likes to try it. I'm blessed to have been mentored and worked for him at 3 different restaurants around the country.
Wow. And currently in L.A.
He's north of L.A. in Santa Ynez right now.
Beautiful. Then we have Amanda Freitag. For those that are foodies, they probably recognize her name. She's currently on a lot of the Food Network TV shows. Tell us about Amanda.
Well, Amanda was working down in the East Village when I started working for Tom. And I remember they were short-staffed one day, and Tom sent me down to work with her team at a place called Verbena. And that's where we met. And a few years goes by, and a few years go by, and we open up our second restaurant on the Upper West Side called Cheska. And we were searching for an executive chef or chef de cuisine, and Amanda's name came up. And so we all went to work together again there. But she's a very talented chef. Now she does not run a restaurant, but she has been head chef at several places in New York City. And she now loves her life. She's not tethered to a kitchen. She travels a lot, does TV a lot, and she's in a happy place, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so, so great. And then I've heard you talk over the years about your mentor, and it was really cool to finally meet him. Tell us about Tom Valente.
Well, Tom and I have known each other since we were 10. We played competitive hockey together in upstate New York. My dad was a judge. His mother was the county clerk. It was a small little incestuous community. And when he finished high school, he went right to France to study. And I didn't see him again for 20 years.
Wow.
I know, he came back, was working in New York City, worked at a couple of great restaurants in New York City, then became his own chef. And, I called him up one day when I was disenchanted with what I was doing in the engineering company. I said, I want to go to culinary school, learn how to cook. And he's like, you're out of your mind.
Well, we all know that, Scott.
You're not going to culinary school. There's no sense in you. At this point, I was married, had a mortgage. And you're not going to go from making good money to owing money to go to school. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to come here on weekends. I was living in New Jersey at the time. You're going to come here on weekends, and I'm going to tell you to cut onions, kill lobsters, sweep the floor, whatever it may be. And we'll do this for some time. And then you'll see if I like it or not. And I loved it.
It's a great story.
So he and I worked together at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 restaurants together.
Wow. And I would be remiss, I just a little sidebar, because we could get off track on this, but you and Tom, and it was really your, if I may say, your initiation to start a fund for restaurant people that were affected in the restaurant business from 9/11.
It wasn't my idea. It was a collaborative idea of about 4 people.
Gotcha.
I was there for the initial conversations, but they took it and grew it to what it was today.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about Benjamin. He's been a part of this, a very big part of this Dinner by the Sea, the sommelier. Tell us about him.
So Benjamin Rodney was a sommelier in New York City, working in the wine program at Gabriel Kleuther. He gave that up to move down to South Florida, where he became a wine rep or a wine salesperson. And we were just talking one day, just shooting the crap kind of at the table. And he's like, why don't you do wine dinners? I said, I've never done a wine dinner. And we started to kind of, spin the wheels a little bit. And he reached out and I reached out. And so that's how the idea was formulated. And he does a great job. He's very personal. He's good at explaining the wines to people. And we're like, let's do it again. And so we did it again this past year, and it was great. And we're already on board for next year.
So for those that weren't able to join you at this dinner because it was extremely limited, 100 people, $450 per person, 6 courses with wine pairings for each course.
Correct.
It was absolutely amazing. And I want to take people through the courses because it really is hard to understand how amazing it was without kind of describing it. So the first course was with Amanda, and she did this stuffed pepper. Tell us about Amanda's first course.
Well, it was a cube pepper, and it was stuffed with charred eggplant. I don't remember the base of the sauce on it. Vegetarian dish, a nice light starter. And then Amanda and I did a collaborative dish together for the second dish. There's a farmer in town. Her name is Bertie Hogan, and she grows the most amazing baby carrots alive.
Those baby carrots were amazing.
And so we did a dish with, roasted baby carrots, some basil pesto, whipped goat cheese, some almonds, some balsamic. That was very, very well.
All right, so we had Amanda with the stuffed pepper on the first one, and then both of you collaborated on the baby carrot on the second course. Third course was Tom. He featured one of his favorite dishes that he does in New Jersey. Tell us about that one with the fava bean.
It's an agnolotti, which is just another word for ravioli. It's just a shape of pasta stuffed with fava beans and then kind of a bacon, wine, and butter sauce. Very simplistic, but full of flavor. And it was one of the favorite, I don't think it was the favorite, but it was one of the favorite dishes of the night.
Well, they were all my favorites, Scott. The fourth one, you did the fourth one, and that was Alaskan halibut. Tell us about that.
It was my take on fish and chips, basically. You know, fish and chips is inherently a fried dish. I wanted to do a much healthier version. So we got some really great Alaskan halibut in, simply pan sauteed it, a little citrus butter, and we made, for lack of a better term, a very fancy version of a tater tot called a pommes pomaison, and paired that with a kind of jazzed up tartar sauce called a grabiche, and you get a little bit of the grabiche, a little bit of the pommes pomaison, a little bit of the fish on the fork at the same time, and you swear you're eating fried fish and chips.
It truly was amazing, and you know I'm very picky about my seafood, and I loved it. It was so delicious, so delicious. You were very ambitious because now we're going into the fifth course, which you did as well, the Wagyu filet. Tell us about that.
So I got some great Japanese Wagyu beef. I covered it in what's called onion ash, where we take sweet onions, turn them into charcoal, pulverize them, and turn them into dust, roll the steak into that, sear the steak, and we paired it with a celery root puree, some local tomatoes, also from Bertie Hogan's farm, crisp potato, Japanese maitake mushroom, and a little bit of truffle demi-glace. And it was a good progression of the meal from first course up to final course.
Okay, well, speaking of finals, so we're at the final inning here. We're at the sixth inning here, sixth course. We have Lincoln at the helm there. He is doing a milk chocolate delice. Tell us about that. It was phenomenal.
This, to me, was the best course of the night. So I've done this dish with him when we worked in Las Vegas together, and it's basically a great French milk chocolate that has been turned into mousse, like chocolate mousse, but it's a milk chocolate mousse, so it's much lighter, piped into a mold so it gets frozen. Take it out of the mold, cut a hole into it, and we fill that hole with salted caramel and seal that with a little sablé cookie, just a little walnut cookie so the caramel doesn't come out. And then, if you will, everyone knows what an Oreo cookie is. So we made basically like an Oreo cookie dough, cooked it so it got solid, and then pulverized that, turned that into dust, and then those mousses were then covered in this Oreo dust, if you will, dark chocolate cocoa powder cookie, and there was some caramel on the plate, and there were some little chocolate squiggles where you melt chocolate and put it into a pastry bag and squeeze it into ice water so it looks like little bolts of lightning, and that was kind of the garnish on the dish, and people flipped their lid over that dish.
Oh, it was incredible. It was very artful, but it actually, I mean, it just tasted amazing. And
it took like 2 full days to do that. I mean, it was only 100 pieces. 2 full days. That's how laborious that dish was.
Well, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Scott, because I want people to understand behind the scenes, it didn't just happen in one day.
Oh, no.
It didn't just happen in one day. Walk us through those few days leading up to this dinner.
Well, one of the most important things is trying to procure all the food everyone wants from around the world, you know.
So tell us about that, because you were having some things flown in. I mean, this was a big deal.
It's a big deal, and what you have to do is you have to be prepared. If you're not going to get something, how do you pivot and make another dish?
Sure.
We were very fortunate. You know, we didn't go with crazy things like we did for the first dinner, by the sea. Last year, for instance, we flew in live langoustines from Norway the same day. They were shipped in from Reykjavik, Iceland to Miami, and then driven up to me the same day. And it was just the freight on that alone was thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But we were able to procure everything. Nothing was really crazy to get. The halibut was kind of the only thing that might not happen, because halibut fishing is really weather sensitive. And if there's rough seas, they're not having it. So we had Icelandic cod on hold at my fishmongers in case we couldn't get the halibut. So you just got to be prepared and plan
Right.
in case something falls through.
Right. Now, you had flown the chefs in. I think the only one that couldn't come in early was Amanda. She was actually at the Food and Wine Festival in Miami, so she drove up from Miami. But I believe you flew in the other two chefs a couple days early so they could start prepping in your kitchen and get
Yes.
to know your kitchen. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. You give each chef a couple of your workers so they don't have to, burden by doing the
Sure.
whole thing themselves. And it's just, there's no sense to rush in, get it done in one day. They're here to have fun. Tom's coming from New Jersey in the middle of winter, a little break, see the sunshine, walk on the beach.
Brought his wife. Hello.
He did.
Yes, he did.
It's a solid 3 days of prep. Like, we didn't do lunch the day before. We didn't do lunch the day of dinner because we needed that time to really work on these dishes.
Sure. Scott, what was that like being host to your friends and to your mentors in this big world of food? What was it like hosting them in your restaurant on the ocean? What was that like for you to have your friends
it was
there?
just like having family there.
Yeah.
Because you're very comfortable with them. They're comfortable with you. They were proud to see that, coming into this career late, I was 37 years old when I started The Cook, what I've done. And they were like proud parents, if you will.
Yeah.
At least Tom and Lincoln were.
Yeah.
They were the two bigger mentors, but it was like having family in.
Yeah.
You just want to make them feel comfortable.
What was it like having your because you've worked all over the world. You've worked from East Coast to West Coast. You've worked in huge cities. A lot of the people in your restaurant have not had that experience. They are from Vero Beach. Okay.
Some of them, yes.
So what was that like for them to be able to meet some of these celebrity chefs?
They were very excited.
Okay.
And also they get to see different techniques, different ideas, hear different stories. A lot of them have heard the stories of me working with Lincoln, me working with Tom, Amanda and I working together. But when they were here, they were just like kids seeing Santa Claus for the first time. They were just excited and eager to work, learn, and listen.
Oh, I love that. And I think Amanda got an offer for marriage or something. Is that right?
I think one of my line cooks was a little smitten. And I think one social media post was, "Chef, will you be the best man at my wedding to Amanda?"
Oh, that is so cute. I know Amanda must have been tickled. I mean, that's so cute.
She got a charge out of it.
Well, it was an incredible night, Scott. Second year, Dinner by the Sea. Can we see this as an annual thing?
Yes, but no more than that.
Okay.
What I think it shows me as the front person putting on this event is that this community wants something a little bit different, something that's never really happened like this before, or if it has happened, it's been many, many years ago in a different format. So once a year is more than enough, because if I think you do it too much, it's not special.
Sure. I get it. Well, and it's a ton of work for you as well.
It takes a couple of months to pull it off.
Yeah. And before we go to break, I just want everybody to know you practically were sold out before it even went public.
Correct.
So
correct. All of
that just proves it's an extra special thing people are wanting and looking for.
The word of mouth. And, I would let a couple of people know before I put tickets up for sale, and it just spread like that. So basically, it was gone in one day.
Yeah. Confirmation that you're on the right thing. So, all right. Dinner by the Sea. That was in March. And I believe last year it was March. It was
March 2nd last year, March 2nd this year.
Yeah. So is that just a coincidence?
It's a coincidence. There was an event in town on March 1st, the day that we wanted to do it, some of my guests that were coming to my dinner would have to choose either this event or my dinner.
Okay.
And so we decided to move it one day back, and it was fine.
So should people anticipate next March or around that time then for the third annual Dinner by the Sea?
Yes.
All right, you guys. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on that. We're going to go to a station break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Sunshine, furniture brightens up your day.
At Sunshine Furniture, we've been the outdoor furniture experts for over 30 years and carry the largest selection of patio furniture, all made in America. Hundreds of styles, colors, and fabrics to choose from in outdoor wicker, aluminum, and recycled plastic from Lloyd Flanders, Hollywood, Berlin Gardens, O.W. Lee, Windward, Woodard, Telescope, and others, all made to withstand our Florida climate, in stock and ready for you to enjoy. Right now, we're having a spring sale on selected groups, and also all pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. We also specialize in replacement cushions, umbrellas, beach chairs, outdoor rugs, and fire pits. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1, Vero Beach, next to Planet Fitness. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Hi, this is Ellen Contreras, host of Treasure Coast Connector. Listen to my show. I put a spotlight on interesting local businesses and resources, connecting them to you, the consumers in the community. Tune in to Treasure Coast Connector Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on your weekend home for Planet Vero Radio, Real Radio 1017.
Cindy gets. She totally gets it.
Oh my gosh, did you see my prom makeup? She so gets it.
Dude, did you see her before and after makeup on Instagram? That makeup girl gets it.
My wedding makeup was so amazing, and my makeup artist, she totally gets it.
My senior photo makeup rocked. She gets it.
You should see her new Facebook profile. Her makeup artist really gets her.
My eye makeup is so on fleek. Thanks, Cindy Getz.
Cindy Getz Makeup Artist, 772-633-4030.
She gets it!
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio. I'm Cindy Getz, your host. We want to shout out to Dale Sorensen Real Estate. Thank you so much for being our exclusive sponsor and for allowing us to be on air every week featuring people like Chef Scott Verricchio. And also we want to thank Varietals. Rob and Michelle at Varietals on Royal Palm Point. Thank you so much for always making sure our guests have wonderful beverages. And because we were talking about Chef Scott's Dinner by the Sea, Rob picked out a Chardonnay because we know Chef likes a Chardonnay, and it's called Mer Soleil, which is sea and sun. So it went perfect with our theme today. So go see him, get yourself some Mer Soleil. It's a beautiful Chardonnay, a little bit buttery, which is what I love. And that is at Varietals and More on Royal Palm Point. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dale Sorensen. We're wrapping it up with Chef Scott Verricchio. We're talking about his Dinner by the Sea that was just this past March, an annual event apparently. And before we wrap it up, Scott, what was your greatest joy? What is your greatest joy hosting this Dinner by the Sea?
It's kind of twofold. One, bringing all my old, compatriots here together and cook together as one. And then just the comments from the guests. You can't pay for that. Everyone was just phenomenal. And I got a litany of text messages from people that were there that night just saying, couldn't get any better. Thank you so much. We appreciate what you've done. You can't pay for that.
Yeah. And to paint the scene, I want people to know that this was private. The restaurant was shut down just for this event.
It was.
So it was really, really special. You had your sommelier in the beginning serving up some lovely wine, and you had some past hors d'oeuvres. It was just lovely from the very beginning to the dessert that Lincoln gave us to the end. It was a nice evening. It was just lovely. It was a great, great event.
Yeah. And what I like is I had a very diverse group of people there. It wasn't just this group of people. It was across the board.
Sure.
Including, my 13-year-old son and one of his friends, with long hair and flip-flops on, saying just they couldn't get enough of it.
I love it. I love it. You guys, if you've never been to Citrus Grill House, I just want to let you know it's 1050 Easter Lily Lane. That's here in Vero Beach. And you guys, they're open for for lunch and for dinner, and not open on Sunday, but Monday through Saturday. Chef, I love the burger, but of course you have so many amazing, you have a wonderful flounder people love, truffle fries, you gotta try. Anything going on right now that people need to try?
Well, I try and cook very seasonally. Peas, asparagus, chicken this time of year. Hopefully soon, crabs,
All right.
Soft shell crabs.
All right. It's all good, guys. Go see him. 1050 Easter Lily Lane, Citrus Grill House. Thanks, Chef Scott.
You're welcome.